Good evening, everybody. Welcome to your Thursday evening Facebook Live. My name is Sarah Edwards, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I come to you guys live every Tuesday and Thursday to show you a fun new project. So starting today, July 1st through August 2nd, I believe if I have those dates correct, Stampin' Up! Has 15% off of all of their designer series paper. So that is what we're going to start playing with for the next couple, probably Facebook Lives on how to use some of your designer series paper. So we are going to try to make 12 cards, and actually we may not be able to make all 12, but you'll be able to cut, if you cut your designer series paper the way I'm going to show you, you'll be able to make 12 cards out of one sheet of designer series paper. I know a couple weeks ago I did a Facebook Live on using up your 12 by 12, and I think we made maybe 16 or something cards on that one. This one is 12, and they're super cute, and we're focusing all on designer series paper. So I'm super excited to show you guys how to cut it. I'm just going to say hello to the ones that have logged on. Hello, Peyton. Hello, Heather and Jane. Good evening. We have card class on Saturday. I have 4 spots left, so if anybody wants to come to card class, I still have 4 spots. So just shoot me a message, and I'll get you registered. We are going to be making some super cute and fun cards. I designed them today, and my brother-in-law actually came out and helped me run the die machine, the embossing machine. So everything is almost done. Not quite done yet. Almost done, though. So let's see. Hello, Darlene. Good evening. I'm just going to make sure we are live, and there it is. We are live on my iPad. I am probably going to go ahead and flip you over just to show you some fun things before we start crafting. And I'm actually going to sit down because my foot is not being very nice to me today. So hopefully I don't fall out of my chair. Okay, there we go. So in the designer series paper, hopefully you guys can see this okay. You're pretty zoomed in. On the back sheet, on the back 12 by 12 cardboard, it tells you exactly what papers, what cardstock colors that match everything that's on the inside. So this one's Crushed Curry, Flirty Flamingo, Granny Apple, Misty Moonlight, Pale Papaya, Petal Pink, Pool Party, Poppy Parade, and Basic Lights. So this huge mega stack can only be purchased as a host rewards. So if you have, if you place an order over $150, you can get this pack of paper. You get, let's see, 48 sheets. So we're making 12 cards. There's 48 sheets in this pack. So 12 times 48, what's the math? Can anybody do the math for me? We all are that smart, but just not on a Facebook Live. I can't sit and do it. That's a lot of cards out of this stack of paper. But we are going to be focusing on just one sheet. And this is the beautiful sheet we are going to be focusing on. I am actually going to be playing with both sides of this. And I'm going to show you how to do that in a second. So let me bring in the card that we're going to make. So these are the 2 cards out of the one piece of designer series paper. So remember how I showed you that it has the stripes on one side, and then you have the black and white flowers on the other? I used my blender pens and we colored it. So that's what we're going to be playing with. But before we get started, let's see who else has logged on. Teresa, Natalie, hello. Oh, 2 of my 3 daughters are on. Very nice. So what we're going to do, I have already pre-cut and scored all 12, even though I don't think we're going to be able to get them all done, but we'll get as many as we can. And I've already pre-cut and ran through the embossing folder. This is 4 by 5 1/4, and I ran it through the embossing folder. I don't know if you can see it very well, just to give it a little bit of texture because this is tone on tone. So we are doing the basic white. Thank you, Heather. 576 cards with that whole pack of paper. That is a lot of cards. You would have enough to mail a card every day for a year and a half. Maybe a little bit more than a year and a half. Thanks, Heather. So I did tone on tone. So we have the basic white on the basic white cardstock, and you can kind of see that it has the embossing on the back. I just wanted to give it a little bit of texture underneath our designer series paper and cardstock. Okay, so, oh, I did forget to mention our basic white is 8.5 by 5.5, and I scored it at 4.25. So we'll get all of this out of the way, and I'm going to bring in my paper trimmer and our designer series paper. So what I'm going to do, this is a 12 by 12 sheet. Let me scooch you back just a hair so you can kind of see everything. There we go. So this is 12 by 12. I am going to pull my little arm out. I have to move my ink pads off. I'm going to pull my arm out, and this is 12 by 12. I am going to scoot it down to the 8-inch mark, and I'm going to cut 4 inches off. Now I'm going to scoot it down one more time to the 4-inch mark, and I'm going to cut that off. So now you have 3 pieces that measure 4 by 12. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide this in with the 12-inch side along the top of your cutter, and we're going to cut this at 9 inches. We're going to cut this at 6 inches. And we're going to cut this at 3 inches. So I'm going to literally do this for the other 2 sheets as well. So cut it at 9. So we're just going down by 3s. So 9, 6, and 3. So now we have 8 pieces that are cut 4 by 3. And let's do the last 4. So we're going to do 9 inches, 6 inches. Can anybody guess what the next number is? 3. There we go. Now, when I did the other Facebook Live on it using your entire sheet of 12 by 12, we did have a smidgen that was left over. Literally, it was a smidgen. So this one, you are actually not going to have anything left over. We are going to use all of these little squares. So what I went ahead and did is I went ahead and grabbed some coordinating cardstock, and I cut these guys. They are 4.25 by 3.25. So all of these are the same exact size, and I literally just picked, I looked at the back of the pack of paper, and I picked the colors that it said on the back. So there was literally zero thinking on my end, which sometimes I really like. So for the first one we're going to do, I'm going to bring in a piece of grid paper and one of our squares. So I'm going to flip it over and do the flower side. And I think I might do this one in granny apple green. Does this not make you feel good when you have to open up a new pack of your blender pens? Oh, I love it. Okay, let's see who else just logged on. Anna logged on, Stephanie logged on, Bev logged on. Hello, ladies. I'm so excited you guys joined. So I'm going to do, I think, the light granny apple green. And when I colored my original one, it did take me a few minutes, so hopefully I can talk and color at the same time. But you definitely want to make sure that you have something underneath you, because the blender pens do bleed through your designer series paper. It bleeds through cardstock as well, and cardstock is a lot thicker than your designer series paper. So just make sure you have something underneath. And we probably will only do this one coloring just because it does take a minute to color. But I was chatting with my brother-in-law as he was running the embossing machine, so it really didn't bother me. And now that I'm chatting with you guys while I'm coloring, it doesn't bother me either. So literally we are going to color all of these flowers in. And I probably should have did some of this ahead of time, but I really didn't know which color I was going to use. I brought all the blender pen colors over, and I literally just thought of this one. So I'm just coloring. So if you're just logging on, if you're just joining, Stampin' Up is doing 15% off of all designer series paper for the month of for the month of July, and I think it's till the 2nd of August. So this is the perfect time to stock up on your designer series paper. Okay, sorry, I had to think for a second on coloring. Hello, Valerie. I just saw that you logged on. I'm sitting down doing this Facebook Live. My foot is hurting, so I didn't want to stand on it and irritate it anymore. So last night, we were able to pre-order out of the holiday catalog, and the catalog went live at 11 p.m. Arizona time. So I told my husband yesterday morning that I was staying up till 11. Okay, I know I'm old, but I didn't realize I was that old. Do you know how hard it was to stay up till 11? At 10 o'clock, I was literally like, is this worth it? I should just go to bed. And then 10:30 rolls around, and I was like, oh my gosh, I still have 30 minutes. I'm like, I cannot stay awake. But I did. I hit submit, and I went right to bed. I think I don't even remember hitting the pillow. Okay, so this is taking a little bit of time, so that is why we're only going to color one on the live. But it's so pretty. And you would really color any of the backs of the designer series paper, even if it's already a design. You could add stamps to it and color on top of that. The expression of ink paper has very subtle colors on the back side. The front side is very bright florals, but the back side is more subtle. You could definitely stamp and color flowers on those as well. I know I see comments popping in. Sorry, I can't look up because I'm trying to color and stay within the lines. If I don't concentrate, then we're going to have a hot mess of blender pens. We're almost done. Only a couple more flowers. But once we put this card together, you'll definitely see it's well worth it. So on Saturday after card class, probably in the early evening, once it cools down 5 degrees, my husband and I are going to go take plates of cookies / cards to some of our new neighbors just to introduce ourselves and say hi. So you know how you give your neighbors plates of cookies? Well, we are going to do plates of cards. So I asked him a couple days ago if he would go with me, and he literally, this is what he did. He's like, ugh. And I paused for a minute, and I was like, did you mean to do that out loud? And he was like, oh, I did that out loud? I'm like, yeah, you totally did that out loud. But he's going. He'll probably just drive me, but hey, at least we're spending time together. It's quality time. Okay, last flower, and I'll quit yakking. Almost done. The end is near. I said that backwards. Okay, there we go. Is that not absolutely gorgeous? So you can see on the other side that it does bleed through. It didn't bleed through. Oh, it did a tiny bit, but I may have just gone off the paper. But you don't want to take the chance. You don't want to ruin your work surface. So always have something underneath you. Okay, so there is the coloring. And I'm going to bring in a piece of our Granny Apple Green. And remember, this is 4x3. All of these are 4x3. And all of these are 4 1/4 by 3 1/4. But before I glue this down, I'm going to bring in our Duo Oval Punch. I'm going to slide this all the way in and punch. Drop those out. And you know what? Nobody is ever going to know that you just punched your sentiment sheets out of the inside of your card, because this is going to layer right on top of it. The only thing you have to be careful of is you don't want to get glue all over the back, because this is open and you'll glue it to your surface. Ask me how I know that. I've only done it a million times. Seriously, I'm pretty sure all of us have done that a million times. Oh, I'll totally remember. Yep, not so much. So there we go. Make sure, there's no glue on the back, so I can set it down and give it a good press. let's bring in our 4 by 5 1/4 piece of basic white that I have already embossed. And I'm literally, I don't want to stress anybody out by doing too much on these cards. Less is more sometimes, so I am just going to glue these down. And for my sentiment, like I did on the original cards, I really just wanted to focus on the designer series paper, so that's why I just chose a small sentiment with the oval. So the focal point is the designer series paper. So let's bring in Granny Apple Green, and I'm going to take a piece of scratch paper, punch out, and yes, you do punch out both of the ovals. We're not going to use the regular oval, we're just going to use the scallops. But there's really no way to do it when you're doing it like I did, punching it from the inside. So I am going to bring in Hello There, ink that up, stamp it. I'm going to clean that off just in case we use it again, which we definitely are. Get that one out of the way. Oops. Oh, I probably should have just stamped them both because we're going to do 2 Granny Apple Greens. Lay this right in the center, flip it over, and I'm going to go ahead and dimension this guy up. So the only thing that I put dimensionals on is the little tag. And let's not put it on upside down. There you go. Look how easy this card was, and you have 0 waste. None. You are going to use the entire sheet of your 12 by 12. And if you use the pack, the Hostess pack, you get 48 sheets. Thanks to Heather, she did the math for me. It was, hold on, let me see, 578, I think she said, 576. 576 cards you can make out of that entire pack. That's crazy. Oh, you know what? That's actually really good for Christmas. If you're doing Christmas presents, you could definitely do 576 cards out of 1 pack of designer series paper. That's brilliant. I did that one year. That's actually how I started with Stampin' Up. I decided to make cards for my family for Christmas one year. So I made 150 cards per family member, and I did it for 7 families. So I don't know, somebody do the math for me. 150 times 7 is a lot of stinking cards. And oh man, look what I did. I totally glued that down without punching it out, but that's okay. We'll pretend that one's done. Let's push that to the side and we'll just keep moving. So we can color again, but I'm not going to, but I am going to flip it over to the black and white, and I actually will color it later. So I'm going to bring in the Flirty Flamingo. Let's punch before I glue like a goofball. I get talking and then I forget what I'm doing. So there we go. So we're going to flip this one over. Remember, keep glue away from the center because that's where you punch the hole. That's one. There's no glue, so we can set it down. This one I'm going to glue the opposite. Once I finish coloring all of these, I'll take a picture of them and post them so you guys can see what they all look like. And there's no glue on that one, so that's perfect. Let's bring in, we'll at least get the majority of them glued onto our layering piece. And then if I have to, I can attach them to the card after the live. I kind of want to just get as much as we possibly can done during our live. So there is, just imagine this being colored in the Flirty Flamingo. So look how gorgeous that one is going to look. And yes, I am coloring this after I put it on the cardstock, but I do have a piece of cardstock underneath it. So it's not going to bleed, and you're not even going to see it because you have your layering piece also. So I'm just going to color one really quick just so you can see how gorgeous this is going to be once it is all colored in. It looks like I need a new Flirty Flamingo blender pen. This one looks a little hammered. Okay, so there is the Flirty Flamingo. And then here is the stripes of the same designer series paper. just flipped over. Crazy, right? And look at all of the cards you guys are going to have made. So let me put these on. Let's see, any other comments? I gotta scroll back down. Oh, thank you, Anna. Tell him thank you very much. Okay, so the embossing folder I used, Heather, is, I don't think it's called Wood Planks. It's in the annual catalog. And I knew I should have looked at it. And I'm actually not going to put that one on because I want to color those flowers. So we're going to pretend that one's on. Let me just set that over there so I don't accidentally get it on. So there you go. And you know, you don't even have to put a sentiment on these. So let's do, what other color? Let's do pumpkin pie. This is not a color that we tend to use in the summertime. This is a very popular color for fall, but my daughter, the only daughter that's not on the Facebook Live, and she's going to get reprimanded when we get off the live for that. Just kidding. Her kitchen is in this color orange, so I could totally send this card to her, and she would love it. Well, I think anybody would love it, but there's pumpkin pie in the designer series paper. And this one, I will color the flowers in pumpkin pie. Oh, snap. Look what I did. Hopefully, it's not going to show. And I did say snap. I didn't say anything else. Who's proud of me? Just kidding. I actually have never said a bad word on a Facebook Live that I know of. Not yet. Now that I said that, I'm going to jinx myself and say something. So there we go. There's this one. Oh, we still have a little bit of time, so we can finish putting all of these together, hopefully. And you don't even have to put a sentiment on if you don't want to. Just leave it blank. Or you could put a heart on it from one of our heart punches. I think these cards are going to be phenomenal. I think they're actually going to go in my plate of cookies for my neighbors. Even though they're not really cookies, it's a plate of cards, but you get my drift. So I literally have made 12. So I am going to probably put 4 or 5 on each plate. So I still have a lot to do, but I'll probably just grab some off of my shelf as well. Oh, almost did it again. So we have the black and white, and I will color this in the Coastal Cabana. And then Coastal Cabana side up. Oh, look what I did. I gotta stop talking and using glue. That's my problem. So let's go ahead and grab our basic white, and we're just going to adhere this right away. There we go. Let's go ahead and flip that over, and we'll put a dimensional on the back. Oh, and the stamp set that I used, I did forget to mention that. I used the Sweet Strawberry. It wasn't anything specific for this card. I just liked the For You and the hello there. I don't think the Happy Birthday You Sweet thing would fit on the oval, but I literally just grabbed something that had smaller sentiments because this was so tiny. There we go. And I might find, I think Itty Bitty Greetings is still available, so I actually might grab the Itty Bitty Greetings and do a couple happy birthday or thank you, thanks. I think I'll definitely find some other small sentiments. Okay, we only have 4 little pieces to put together, and we are going to be done. Oh, punch. Who reminded me of that? Thank you so much for whoever reminded me to punch first. You know what? While I have the punch out, I'm just going to do these 2 as well. This one is Poppy Parade. Okay. So there we go. Let's do not go in the center of the card of the designer series paper. We're going to have to say that 18 times while we're putting these together. Otherwise, you're going to have an inky mess on your hands. look, we are almost done. Are you guys going to try this technique? So just remember, it's a 12 by 12 sheet. You're going to cut it down to 3 strips of 4. And then you're going to cut those. Ooh, I almost did it again. You're going to cut those down to 3 inches. So they're 3 by 4 inch squares. So there is the Blushing Bride. This one is Blushing Bride. And I hope I didn't get ink on my station, and I did. So this is Blushing Bride in the little rainbow. This one's going to be Blushing Bride colored with our blender pens or markers. I actually don't know if they still have the Blushing Bride blender pens. And then we have Poppy Parade, and this is actually what I did my original cards out of, is Poppy Parade. So this you can ink or glue up the whole backside. So there we go. And this is an amazing way to stop hoarding your designer series paper. Use it and love it and send cards. I sent a bunch of cards last week, and I've gotten a few messages saying that people have got them, so that makes me happy. Okay, there we go. I'm not going to take any more time to put any of the other pieces on, but this is the gist of our cards. Oops. So this one is the Granny Apple Green. This one is the Poppy Parade, and it's using the same exact designer series paper. Just cut them 4 by 3, color them, do whatever you want with them, add a tiny sentiment. Oh, and these guys I actually just glued down. Oh, and I popped that up. That's what I did. I did the opposite. But you can really do whatever you want. They are your cards, and they are super fun and super cute. So hopefully you guys liked tonight's live. I will be doing a couple other lives on using up some designer series paper. Maybe we'll make a box or a bag or something fun using up some designer series paper. Oh, we should make a box to put all of these cards in. Okay, that's exactly what we'll do. So this week, your guys' chore is to make this bundle up. So you have 12 cards. And then on Tuesday, we will make a box to fit all 12 of these cards in. And they can go on your desk at work. And when you need a card, pull it down, open it up. Bam, you're done. 12 cards, perfect. Okay, anyways, if you guys need anything, please feel free to reach out. I'll be up for a couple more hours, but I am going to make it an early evening because I didn't get much sleep last night. Anyways, we'll talk to you guys soon. Hopefully you guys have a great night. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.